Show, Peter G Show, Peter G Show, Peter G Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G Show.
Hey kids, it's showtime. I feel good. That's right. Ah, look at it. That's right. Let's do this. Sunday night. Sunday night. It's a weird time to be on, but it's a good time to be on. I figured, what else is anybody else doing, right? I like it. Those who will follow will follow. Those who won't, won't. No complaints. As long as I wake up, I'm good. Yeah, man. Hey, listen. Let's start this morning. Let's start this evening off right, okay? There's the music. Time to get your groove on. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Lot to talk about. Let's do this. Sorry, don't know where to start. Every Sunday night, let me tell you something about Sunday nights. Every Sunday night when I start, I think I have it together. But it's like not stage fright, but it's butterflies. No matter how much you have it together. If anybody tells you this is a piece of cake, they're full of shit. In a lot of ways it is if it's what you do, but it's never a piece of cake. It's great when it's great, but believe me, every once in a while, there's a time when you can get knocked down and get your ass kicked, and it is what it is. It humbles you, like knocks you down a few steps, reevaluate, brush yourself off. And hi, my name is Peter G. You're watching the Peter G Show, Life with Peter G, right here Sunday night live on Facebook in an undisclosed location in Burbank, California. It's good to see everybody. I do know that it takes time for people to start up and watch the show. Some people, and a lot of people, are lurkers. They watch from afar. They don't want to say things. A lot of people say, Peter, I love you to death. I can't stay up on Sunday nights. I'm on the East Coast. It's almost midnight. I got to go to bed. I got to go to work. I totally respect that. I do. Totally respect that. And I mean totally. But tonight and every Sunday night, we do what we do when we do it, because that's how I roll. You can watch the reruns. You can see all this stuff all through the week, on demand, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, you get bits and pieces, Facebook, but that's how it works, okay? Hey, Bama, love Bama. Get ready to go take care of some stuff over there. And I mean that. Anyway, tonight's going to be a good night. Let me tell you why. Because first of all, tonight could not be tonight if it wasn't for my beloved Bolt Energy. Bolt Energy, electrify your senses. Why Bolt Energy? Glad you asked. Bolt Energy, no preservatives, okay? Try to find an energy drink with no preservatives. You're not going to find it. Only energy drink with no preservatives. Enriched with vitamins and antioxidants. Biggest thing, number one, I like the way it tastes. All right? Bolt Energy. I cannot, believe me, there's plenty of energy drinks out there, and I've drank my share, and a lot of them taste like shit. And people drink them anyway because they're desperate. You don't have to do that. Okay? Bolt Energy. Ask for it in stores. If they don't have Bolt Energy, say, why don't you have Bolt Energy? And they go, I do not know. Say, well, get Bolt Energy. You go, where do you find this Bolt Energy? Now, I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying that. You ask for it, and they will get it, okay? Bolt Energy. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to www.drinkboltenergy and say, "Hey, Bolt Energy." Man, my favorite lurker, my sidewinder, my Ed McMahon, Pepsi. Yeah. Anyway, too many rats and not enough cheese. Sorry. Where was I? I lost my train of things. Times they's a changing. All right, listen. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to www.drinkboltenergy and Trump 2020. If you can't find Bolt Energy, go to www.drinkboltenergy. Say, "Hey, Bolt Energy." I know I'm totally losing it. Stop. And get you and say, "Hey, Bolt Energy, where can I find this mystical Bolt Energy you speak of?" Okay. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Wait, let me pop open a can. Hang on. Somebody keeps calling already. I'm already behind the times, and I want to do something special. I don't have much time. Tonight we got Nancy Mueller on the screen, the big little screen. Life Sensei. Nancy's going to talk about divorce and single parenting. Whoever just was trying to call me, try calling one more time. I'll give you 30 seconds because we got to keep moving. Tonight's not phone call night. Go, Peter. I don't know. I don't want to know. And Pepsi, if that's you calling, you're going to have to wait. Holy crap. I like this stuff when it's ice cold. I really do. Drink what Peter drinks. Pepsi, was that you? Don't tell me you're in Palm Springs. I'll kill you. I mean that. For those of you who don't know who Pepsi is, you do. All right. All I need. All right. So Nancy's going to be on in just a few short minutes. One thing I want to do right now. I'll lower this. Have this lowered. Oh, Christ. Here we go. Hey, you're on with Life Peter G. Who's this?
Hi, this is Nick.
Hey, Nick. What's up?
No, I just wanted to talk to Pete a little bit.
You got to talk. You got to turn that shit down. You're feeding back.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to talk to Peter.
You're talking to Peter.
I've been. Okay.
What's up?
How's it going, man? Not much. Just it's been a long year. Been a long week with Edward passing away and everything. I know he was a friend of yours and everything.
I was just getting ready to get to that, and then the phone kept ringing. I said, "Okay, I'm going to answer this because I never get phone calls."
Oh, okay. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, so I wanted to just to call you. I try to watch you every Sunday night. I try to share things that people know about you and everything on my end.
Nick,
but,
is this the Nick that never calls that I think the Nick it is?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Yasu. All right. God bless you. Finally.
I wanted to call you. Yeah, absolutely. Crazy actually.
Your cell phone signal is breaking up. Where the hell are you? Get near the cell tower because you're breaking up, and I want people to hear you. Jesus. All right, listen. Unfortunately, finally you call after 4 years or 3 years, whatever the hell it is, and your signal's breaking up. I can't hear you. So here's what we're going to do, Nick. I'm going to do an Eddie Van Halen tribute for about a minute and a half right now, and then you need to call me in the future. Okay?
Wonderful. I will. I'll try to make another call next Sunday for you. Lots to talk about, my friend. You take care of yourself.
Finally. I was all over you. All right, let's hang up and talk next week. Next week.
I know.
All right.
There's a time and a place for everything, and it's here. Take care of yourself. Be well.
Peace out.
All right.
Wow. One of my biggest lurkers. Here's what we're going to do real quick because Nancy's waiting on me. Really? Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Van Halen, what can I say? Friggin' Eddie Van Halen. I knew this time was going to come. You just don't know when it is, and no matter when it comes, you're never ready for it. It is what it is. The man changed the way guitar gets played, and I don't play guitar, but Jesus, man, when I was a kid, the life, I said if I could live anybody's life, it would be Edward Van Halen, the band Van Halen, because believe me, I was fortunate enough to spend some time around these guys, and it's like, holy crap, the stories. And I only caught a couple of stories. Right there on this screen, Eddie Van Halen and Gary Cherone, for a very short time after Sammy Hagar, Gary Cherone from the band Extreme did one album / CD / I don't even know what you call them anymore. They did a record. And I was thankful enough, lucky enough, in the right place at the right time, I got to spend time with these guys. And Eddie, Gary, all these guys, Alex, believe me, Alex Van Halen, they humbled me, and I said, here, hold this. At the time, I wasn't thinking about like taking pictures with the guys because we all took pictures, we all hung out. It's like you think it's never going to end. And so I wrote that by hand. I said, here, hold this. This is back in 20 years ago, okay? This is 20 years ago. Eddie Van Halen, I said, hold this. We didn't have Photoshops. We didn't have... digital was even not that much. And I said, hold this. That was more important to me than taking a picture with Eddie. God bless Eddie Van Halen. He changed a lot of people's lives, man. Lives on forever. And that's it. That's all I got to say. I was a lucky individual. Who knew? Back then in my life, we were just doing what we did. So, his music lives on. Their music lives on. Van Halen. I said to myself, if I could live any rock star's life, I mean, the band stories and all that, they were out of control. They had kick-ass music. They were the real deal. It is what it is. All right. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to call Nancy Mueller right now. We got to get back to business. I'm sorry. It's hard to get focused. Took that phone call. Kind of threw me for a loop. But it is what it is. Oh, yeah. Call Nancy. Sorry, Nancy, I was a little late.
Oh, it's all good.
No, it's not. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked. I took a phone call, which I shouldn't have done, but I knew there was something of worth. How are you?
I'm fabulous. How about you?
I'm great. That's fabulous. You got one over on me. All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen.
Except I don't see you.
You don't see me.
I see a black screen. Yeah. Which is okay.
Yeah,
it is okay. Speak to the lens.
That shouldn't be.
It's all good.
Let's not worry about that right now because this is the problem with being alone. Everything was just fine a minute ago, and I don't want to have to reboot. Let's go. But you're good, right? Because I see you just fine.
I'm good.
That's all that matters. Believe me, they don't need to see me. Yeah, I apologize. I don't know what's going on right now, and if I don't want to change it. Let's just go with it, okay?
You got it.
Let's make it like it's a phone call, except you're right there, and believe me when I tell you, you're being seen.
All right, you got it.
So give me a second here. Let me. It was the night got started off. You think you have everything planned and everything's going to be good, and I see. It's his camera off. Son of a gun! Why is the camera off?
I don't know. It says it's paused.
Yeah, it does. I'm going to try. Sorry. Oh, there we go.
There you are.
Hey, there I are. Everywhere I go, there I are. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Nancy Mueller. Nancy, you have several books out, don't you?
I do. I have 3 working on number 4.
Oof. I can't even get to number 1.
Sure you can.
No, I'm a great procrastinator. Here, let me fix that for you. Okay, so now that you can
what was it that Clint Eastwood always said? A man's got to know his limitations. I love that.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. It's like there's many good things going on, but it's a little tough. I don't know. I don't even know. I've had friends that wrote books, but to me, it's like I need somebody to be by my side because grandma, I don't know. Lots of thoughts, don't know how to put it down. I'm just that way. I'm a very visual kind of guy. But anyway.
Well, maybe there's a movie in your future.
It's going to be like Borat or something like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I swear. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Nancy, the life sensei, right?
Yes, sir.
Nancy and I have crossed paths over, I don't know, several years. I mean, I
think.
We touched base years ago. Several
Yeah,
years ago.
we did.
At least no less than 2, maybe 3. And it's like, yeah, let's get together. And then life goes on.
Right.
And all of a sudden, here we are, several years down the road, and I'm watching a lot of things. I'm like, I watch a lot of things. And I keep seeing you out there. And I said, you know what? Need to call Nancy. Another week goes by, another month goes by. I need to call Nancy. I finally called Nancy.
Yes, you did.
And Nancy said, hey, Peter, sure, no problem. But Nancy, I mean, since doing this live Facebook show, and by the way, folks, again, I can't take phone calls. We were talking about that with Nancy because she thought I could take phone calls. I can't. This COVID thing has screwed everything up. But you can text. I'm reading 2 or 3 pages out of 4 for the Facebook Live. And if anybody has questions for Nancy, I'll relay it, and then Nancy can answer. But the bottom line is, you are really big in the whole divorce and surviving divorce kind of scene, right?
Absolutely. Actually thriving through divorce.
Thriving through divorce. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when you use the word survivor or survive, it has a negative connotation. And I am really big on helping people see the positive in what's going down.
Okay, because I mean, to me, survive it's a tough one. I mean, I went through it. I would not be here had it not been for that. If you asked me 10 years ago, would I be doing this? I would have said you're crazy because I had a whole different life. But not only did I go through it, survive it, I grew from it, and it's made me who I am today, good or bad. But on top of that, I have a child that I adore, and most people know that. And it was I'm more about keeping your act together because you have a lot of. If you have children, they depend on you. I mean, you're all about. So that's how it all started. But here's the thing I want to talk about. So you have 3 books and a 4th on the way, correct?
Correct.
Okay, name them.
The first one is Chocolate or Vanilla. Life is all about choices. The second one is Healing the Child Within. Life is all about choices. The third one is Divorce, because letting go does not mean giving up. And the one I'm working on now is called Secrets in the Attic, A Journey Back to Love. And this one I'm really excited about. I mean, I'm excited about all of them, but this one, I literally got the idea for this when I was sitting in the attic at my aunt and uncle's house. They had passed away and my cousins were going through all of their stuff. And as us cousins were going through stuff, we came across some family information.
Oops, sorry.
So,
yeah,
we started looking at each other like, we didn't know that. We didn't know that. And then all of a sudden you start to see how everything you thought to be true is falling down around you. And of course, we all believe we are who we are based on who someone told us we are. So I'm really excited about this book because I think it'll really help open the minds of people to, answer that question, who would you be if somebody hadn't told you who you are?
letting go of people and death. And I mean, again, we all get to a certain age. I'm an orphan. I'm an only child, so to speak. And people freak out. They go, "You're an only child." I guess I don't know why they expect that there should be more of me. I think my parents said that was enough. but even at my age as a grown adult, and I read that recently again, and which I knew it. It's like somebody wrote, because I follow Facebook a lot. This is why this is a Facebook show. I may be doing this in a very unorthodox way, but I believe in Facebook people because they open up their hearts and they talk.
Right, they do.
And when a parent passes away, I mean, I don't care how old you are, it hurts. And somebody said, and reminded me, it's like you don't really become a man until you've lost your parents or something like that, or your father, or this and that. And even though I not a whole lot has changed, but it's like there's no safety net. Even though I managed my parents in their elderly years. I was lucky enough. They lived a pretty good. If I told you my parents lived to their early 90s, you go, wow, not bad compared to some.
Right. That's awesome.
But you know what? They could be 150, and it hurts just as much. So yes, and then all of a sudden you go, even though they didn't do anything, they couldn't do anything. They were old, and I did everything. For some reason, there's still that cushion.
Right. That essence of who they are.
Yeah, and just I don't. Yeah, so it's hard, and I try to cover. So this whole live Facebook thing, I'm a little bit broader. I mean, my roots are. And I know you may not want surviving, but thriving. I'm telling you, surviving, because a lot of people go down in flames because they got nobody to talk to. That was my whole goal, is talking and saying, hey, you're not alone. This isn't, you're not pioneering. It sucks, but listen, let's talk about it. So that's where it all came from. But anyway, okay, so enough of me. You recently, you cater to a lot of women?
I do. I mostly market to women. I have male clients as well, but I mostly market to women.
Tell me why.
Well, I would say that it's because when I started out, I started my business in 1998, and I was at that time a student, competitor, and teacher in the martial arts. So I thought that I had found my calling and that, wow, this is amazing. Women need to have this empowerment piece. This is wonderful. So my business was called WAVE, Women Against Violent Encounters. And I truly, truly enjoyed teaching women what they could do, what they were capable of. But the more I started teaching and the more workshops that I did, I really started to see that they were grabbing onto the empowerment piece.
Right.
So I at one point had mixed classes, mixed workshops. But, and this isn't true of all men, I'm just saying this was the experience, that there were a lot of guys who took the class because they had something to prove. And I don't want to be in that energy. So to work with a guy, I have a conversation with them. I find out, who are you? What do you want? What do you want to do? And as long as it's not a one-upmanship or trying to prove something, then I'm all over it. But that's really a difficult way to market yourself, like I work with men and women as long as the men aren't trying to prove something.
No, I get it. And a lot of people say, you know what, you should specialize and you should stick to it. But I have found in my seekings, so to speak, there's good women and there's good men.
Right.
And there are bad women and there are bad men. There are women that will drop off the children and say, you know what, I got to live my life and I am out. And there are men that go, I got to drop off, I got to live my life and I'm out. So most of the bad people don't listen to me. I mean, they just don't. And I'm I don't know. I'm just that guy. Whatever that guy is, enough to get up on my soapbox, which I have, and say, I'm here for the people who give a shit, who are having a hard time, which a lot of people have a hard time, as you know, correct?
Right. Yeah.
That's why you're here.
Honestly, when I was going through my divorce, this is how I describe it. This is the best way that I can describe it. It felt like there were days when I was walking through Jell-O, like literally just could not move forward. Everything felt so out of balance and so out of control. And that's not something that I had really experienced in my life. Being in the martial arts, you were taught to go within. And this was a whole new, hey, let's put this one to the test, Nancy, because I was married for 32 years.
Oof.
So I was married longer than I wasn't married.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So, when it's like your whole identity just vanishes or starts to crumble around you. And you're trying to figure out, like, well, who am I if I'm not that wife, that mother, that homeowner, that homemaker? Who am I if I'm not that we? Now I'm a me. And then dating, that's a joke,
It's like, tough, yeah.
I mean, like, I hadn't dated since I was a teenager. So what's that all about? So, yeah, there were a lot of new things coming into my life. And, of course, I can talk about it now without the negative emotions. But as I said, there were days when brushing my teeth was all I could handle.
It puts you in a dark place. It's like
does.
the why me. First time going through it, obviously.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
and that's a
32
tough
years,
one
yeah.
because I believe if after you've gone through that, if God forbid, if you had to do it again, you'd be better at doing it. Not that means like hey, I don't mind doing it. Everybody minds doing it, but you learn the do's and don'ts. You've touched the fire. Oh, it burns, and so I've talked to people who've been married 4 times. The first 3 didn't work. The fourth one 30 years married and they're happy as hell. I don't know if you can survive that. I've said that many times. But
Well, I got married a second time, and that marriage didn't last even 2 years. But that marriage ended very amicably. We're friends. He's a wonderful person. I just didn't know where I was
you're just
in it.
reaching out.
Yeah,
You're grabbing straws. Felt
absolutely.
good. It's fun.
Well, because the thing is that 32 years of living your life a
Sure.
specific way, that's what you know.
Yeah.
So that's what we gravitate to. And
Sure.
that's what I talk about in my book. I talk about the 3 stages of divorce, thinking about it, going through it, and putting it behind you. And however you deal with each stage is going to affect the other 2 stages. So when you are putting it behind you, meaning the divorce is final, basically, what are you doing? You're standing there, you're still you, and now you're saying, well, now what? I mean, I'm used to being with someone, so I guess I should date. I guess and what does dating mean to me? Dating means, leading to marriage, and we're going to be a happily ever after again. And we really need, and I rarely use that word need, but we really need to give ourselves the opportunity to go within and find out who we are before we try to do that again.
Not everybody does that.
No, they don't.
I
Because
mean,
there are a lot of people who are looking for another person to complete them.
okay. So let's go through your 3 stages. I mean, 'cause what I wanted to do was, at first, I wanted to touch a few minutes on each book of yours and the difference between the 3. I'm hoping that there's a difference.
Oh, okay.
So,
Sure.
okay, your first book, the first book you wrote.
Well, the first book that I wrote, Chocolate or Vanilla, Life is All About Choices, I wrote that book when I was going through my divorce because I felt that there was something inside of me that absolutely needed to come out, a message that needed to come out because I was angry, I was hurt, I was frustrated. I saw myself as this really strong woman, this warrior, this competitor in the martial arts. And I felt like I have done all of this work on myself. I do not understand why I am going through a divorce. So it was very challenging. But at the time, it felt like everything just came down on my head all at one time. So I could feel it. It was like literally like something pushing me from behind going, you need to share this.
You weren't looking for that. Your life's falling apart.
Yeah. And I really wanted to, it was for me. I wrote this book for me. And a lot of people ask me, as far as the title, why did I call it Chocolate or Vanilla? And this book that I wrote, I was estranged from my mother for most of my life. And so when I started to go through my divorce, my mother called me. She lives in Ohio and I live in California. And she said, hey, is it true what I heard that you're getting divorced? And, I'm like, oh, man, I don't need this. On top of everything else, I don't need this. And I said, yes, it's true. That's what's happening. And she said, well, I've never been there for you your whole life. I want to be there for you right now. How can I help you?
Wow.
And honestly, I didn't even know what that looked like.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean?
Yeah. It's like, where's this coming from?
Right. So she was very true to her word, and she learned how to text, and she learned how to follow me on social media. And so I said to her, Mom, I want you to know that I wrote this book, and I was just getting ready to publish it. Now you're back to my life, and now I don't know if I should publish it.
Oh,
and she said, why not? And I said, well, it doesn't exactly put you and Dad in a very favorable light. And she said, well, why don't you email it to me and I'll take a look at it. And I said, okay. I said, if it's going to destroy what we're trying to build, then I'll just let it go. but she was really fabulous. I sent it to her, and 2 days later she called me back and she said, well, you're right. It doesn't put us in a very favorable light. And she's like, but I think you should publish it. And I said,
Wow.
why? And she said, because it's the truth, and it's about time the truth came out.
I'll give her that much. Most people wouldn't do that. They'd say, how dare you?
No, she's been just fabulous throughout and very supportive of my work. And then as she started following me on social media and kept following me, one day we were having a conversation and she said, hey, Nancy, I see what you're doing for all these women. Do you think maybe you could teach me what you're teaching them and it could strengthen our relationship? And I thought, okay. It's not like I took her on as a client, but it was more like gentle redirection,
how do
that
you
type
teach
of
your
thing.
mom? I mean, unless you spend time with her and go, like, let's just try to let go of the past and work towards the future, which isn't easy.
Well, she has had a lot of guilt for the way she parented. And I said, Mom, there's nothing, it's in the past. The past is the past. We need to let go of the story. And when you can let go of the story, that's what frees you. Right. But that's part of the healing and what I teach. So it was really fabulous. And actually, that's what led to our second book, because she and I used to Skype a lot at that time. And I said, hey, Mom, I think I have an idea for my second book. I think we need to write a book about our story about mother-daughters, because I think there are a lot of mothers and daughters who are trying to strengthen their relationship or rebuild their relationship or make sense of their relationship. And so we were Skyping so I could see her face, and she's like, well, I can't do that. And I said, okay. And then she goes, yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Entitled what? What was the name of the book? Second book.
Healing the Child Within.
Okay.
Life is all about choices, right?
Stop it right there, because we're going to pick that up in a second. Tony is writing, again, I don't have the phone calls, and he says, if it costs as much to get married as it does to get divorced, a lot of people would really think this through. Because that is true, right?
Well, and on the flip side, a lot of people stay married because of the cost of divorce.
A lot of people don't, and they don't realize what they're getting ready to jump into. And believe me, I had to go through it because I didn't have a choice. But it's believe me when I tell you, I'm still paying for it.
Well, it's interesting because there are no manuals that say this is the way to be married. There are no manuals that say this is the way to parent.
Of course not. There's friends, but who listens?
Right.
Who listens?
Right. There's Google, right? Everybody Googles now. It's like, how do I do this? And you get on Google.
People turn to you after the fact, right?
For divorce?
Just like, listen, if things are going great, why do I need to listen to Nancy? Why do I need to listen to Peter? You know what I mean? Because life is good. I find that I watch people pop in and out of my show. They pop off, they get busy, they fall in love, all of a sudden they drop off, they break up, they're back on my show.
Well, this is why the 3 stages is so important, because stage 1, thinking about it. Now imagine you tell yourself that you're happily married, and you realize that thoughts keep coming up for you, like what if thoughts? What if I weren't married? The road not taken, that type of thing. And when we have those kinds of thoughts, I'll speak for myself or, the women that I've spoken with. We feel guilty. Like, oh my gosh, I've got so much. My life is so wonderful. How can I be thinking thoughts like this? I must be a horrible person. There must be something wrong with me. And we start to judge ourselves and criticize ourselves. But really, that conversation that's coming up in our mind is really our higher self giving us the opportunity to say, there's something that you want to take a look at that you are really resisting or pushing it in the background, and you're not taking a look at it. So give yourself permission to take a look at this. Maybe it's having that really important conversation with your spouse, and you're telling yourself, oh man, I've talked to him or her until I'm blue in the face. It's not going to do any good to talk. And so we get at a standstill, and we feel like if we move forward, if we do something about these thoughts that we have, that it's going to lead to divorce. So in our mind, the way our minds work, it tells us this is an either or thing. Either keep your mouth shut or you're headed for divorce.
But do you think that in this day and age, because again, when I was growing up as a child, getting divorced was like a embarrassment.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah, it was. And nowadays, people just say, screw it. They don't try to, like life is not a, and this is my 9 millionth time saying it, life is not a bowl of cherries. Okay? You have to take the good with the bad, but there's a reason why you got with somebody, why you chose to marry somebody. It's like, what was it? It's like, not every day. See, that's the problem. Are you a thrill seeker? Like, when it's not as much fun, it's like all of a sudden, I think I can do better. The grass is the grass really greener?
Yeah, no, it never is.
It never is.
And when I was the ninth grade, I guess it was, my parents divorced. My mother's been married 4 times. My father's been married 3 or 4 times.
Oh,
and so at that time in the 70s, you were really looked down on if your parents were divorced.
There was something wrong. It's like, what's up with
that?
Yeah.
Oh, you come from a broken home. Poor you. So those feelings also feed into our beliefs and what we think about divorce and how we're going to move into it or avoid it or resist it. So this is why it's so important for us to take that opportunity to get to know ourselves, really know who we are. Well, why do I think that way?
This day and age, come on, Nancy. I mean, really, nobody, they think after the fact. It's like, screw it. Nobody's got the time. I don't know. I envy the people. I really do. And I meet a lot of people. And the ones that have been married 20 years, 15 years, whatever, and bands. I grew up in a music background, okay? It's like being married. If you're in a band, you're married to 3, 4, 5 people. I might get along great with you, but you may not get along with so-and-so. And some of the greatest bands in the world, the Beatles, you know what I mean? They didn't.
Right.
It didn't work. They were superstars. Who'd want to give that up? But you don't care. Now, they lived to tell about, 2 out of 4 lived to tell about it, but the thing was, at the time, you're just like, screw it, I'm out. And some of the greatest stuff that could come out of the greatest stuff, you just don't care, and that's that. And my mother and father argued like Fred and Ethel, and I guarantee you, I love Lucy. But at the end of the day, it was the weirdest thing. There was times when I'm going, how the hell are you guys married? But let me tell you, as my mother was the first to start getting ill. My father, at 92 years old, still drove. So I used to tell people, watch out. But he really stepped up to the plate because, like, the original reasons why he's married for almost 62 years came out. And he really, really redeemed himself. Because my father was like, he was this tough little Greek guy that just, I don't know, it was the weirdest thing. But as he got older, he really got softer. And I'm very thankful for that because I'm telling you, there's times when I'm going, what the hell did happen here? But they never gave up, though. They fought, but they never said, screw you, I quit. I mean, they fought. But they also brushed themselves off and just like, okay, move on. That doesn't happen.
I really think that there are those relationships where divorce is not an option, not meaning that you don't have a choice, but meaning that you have made a commitment to each other that whenever we feel like throwing in the towel and giving up and getting divorced, let's really come back to each other and say, why is this necessary? But that takes a lot of trust on both sides.
It takes 2.
Exactly.
No matter what you think.
Right.
The other one can say, screw you, I'm out. And you don't have a choice. I've always said this. It takes 2 to get married. Only takes 1 to get divorced. I got married in about an hour and a half. I got divorced in about 3 years.
Right.
It cost me so much to get married. It cost me 150 times that amount to get divorced. And it sucks. It really does. So what do? 3 stages. I mean, so you're 3 stages. I mean, with women, you don't think that goes back and forth? I mean, with men as well?
No, I think the thoughts that come on both sides.
Yeah.
When a man starts saying, I really feel like divorce is the answer, to be able to ask the questions to yourself and say, why do I feel like divorce is the answer? And then what is the question? But, again, it's not cut and dried. It's not like saying, oh, it's a cookie cutter, you can follow these 5 steps and everything is rosy, because especially when you've been married for a long time, there are years and years of habits and patterns and, just we gradually let things go. And, in hindsight, I can see where my culpability in it. But I was one of those people who just said, divorce is not an option in my mind. And that's what I always told my ex-husband. I said, I feel like whatever happens, we're going to work this out. It's good. We trust each other. It's all good. So when he told me that he wanted a divorce, I was pretty dumbfounded. But at the same time, I also remember feeling a huge relief because I knew I was done. I was just really done.
You tried.
And yeah, and he said, that's it? That's that easy? And I said, well, you look surprised. And he said, well, I just thought you'd keep taking it like you did all these years. And that's when I knew I was done. I was absolutely finished. And it's not about blame. It's not about he said, she said, nothing. I believe that it's about each of us is responsible for ourself,
Right.
our own individual self. And anyone who is still referring to their former spouse as, negative words or still being angry, I mean, it's that saying, holding on to anger is like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. It's not going to happen.
It's just a natural phase. Unfortunately, you don't look. You're going through it, and you don't know you're going through it. You just live.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Until you get. If you're lucky, you have some friends that surround you and go. I remember when I first separated, and guy friends that were ahead of me going, I know it sucks, but believe me when I tell you, it'll get better. But that was an understatement. You know what I mean? Because your world is crumbling, and it's like, why me? Why me? That's just why I started this. Especially, again, I'm all about you got children involved, and I'm very, 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 very blessed that my child did not get really messed up because of all this. Because I'm telling you, it was nasty. Unfortunately, for no reason, it's just the way it goes. And for those who have the amicable divorces, God bless them, but it doesn't happen as much. Okay.
Right.
And I just started realizing this because when I first started this show was actually called the Jim and Peter Show. And Jim had 2 kids, and it was just tough. He was things were going out of his control, and he chose to believe like it was all going to work itself out, but it didn't. And I felt bad for his kids because his kids got caught in the middle of the he said, she said, mom's doing crazy stuff. And he tried to be the white knight, but even then, it's like hindsight is 20/20, and I just said we can't do this. As much as I want to do this, and I kept on moving forward, but we shared the same pain, but I'm more. But the kids, you know what I mean? We're all adults. We'll get bigger. So it's
I was
hard.
fortunate that my daughters were in their.
You have kids?
They were grown and out of that. Yeah, I have 2 daughters.
Okay.
They were grown and
You're married
on
a
their
long
own.
time.
Yeah, 32 years.
Yeah. How old were your kids when you separated, divorced?
I will, like they were in their mid 30s, early 30s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Last week I had a guest on the show, and he was the hopeful romantic. He was a genuine male who said, no matter what, this is his beliefs, and it's a great belief. It's just fantasy land. I'm sorry. He said, if I, by some chance, had a baby with you, regardless, if you said to me, Peter, I can't do this anymore, I would stay with you until the children are grown, no matter what, to make sure we raised our children to be strong and be loved and this and that. But it's not that simple if somebody doesn't want to be with you, right?
Right.
You
Especially,
get sick.
well, and especially because no one deserves to put their life on hold. And we think we're doing it for the children, but we think that we are hiding it from them. And, we've got, we think that we are, oh, good, I'm not going to let the kids know about this. But
They're smart.
kids,
They're really smart. Well,
and
apparently
what we
my
don't
guest
tell
was
them-
stupid because he said he grew up until he's about 18, 19, and his parents were putting on an act, and his mother did not want to be married, but both parents were very loving parents. And I'm a loving parent, okay? I've changed my life around. It's been very humbling to be that little girl's father 24/7, or when I was allowed to be her father. And I could have been the guy who wrote a check, and when I'm home, whatever. But it's not that simple. I mean, yeah, kids need attention; they really do. But you can't be with somebody if somebody doesn't want to be with you.
No.
Okay.
And children deserve the truth. They deserve as much of the truth as possible to know what's going on.
When you're older and you're getting ready to rock a teenager's world and say, "Hey, we just can't be together," you're screwing them up. I mean, it is. They don't want that. But it is what it is, and all you can do is love them as much as you can. And this is what I was trying to tell him. And I'm telling you, he's talking to me after the show and still telling me that I am too much on the dark side, like what we're talking about right now. And I'm telling you, I feel that it's the way it should be. It's like, if you're not, how can you be with somebody who doesn't want to be with you? It doesn't work.
Well, and children don't just learn by what we tell them. They learn by what they intuit. And they intuit based on how they feel. So you can tell when you walk into a room and someone's angry or, not a nice person, or you feel that
Right.
We're all energy. Everyone is energy. We feel that energy.
It can get
and
nasty.
Children feel that. And if
nasty.
they don't know the truth, then they make it up themselves.
Okay. So let's reiterate a little bit. 3 stages.
Yeah.
Go. Give me 1
So
minute.
stage
of each.
1 is thinking about it. So the important thing about stage 1, and you had asked earlier, to know that if you are thinking about it, give yourself permission to say that doesn't mean you're headed for divorce. Just simply allow yourself to think about it. Allow yourself to sit and say, why are these thoughts coming up for me? Why do I think that this is the only answer? And you can take it from there, because whatever answers you come up with, you might find that it truly, truly strengthens your marriage. It might happen that it makes it really important to say, okay, no, this is what we have to do. It's going to end. But either way, give yourself permission to really go through that and think through it, rather than, if that's possible. Like in my case, it just was like, hey, I wanted to do this. And it came so out of left field. It's not like, but we did go to therapy. We did talk.
That's
we
the
did.
last train out.
Yeah.
It really is, right?
Yeah. He just was not into it. And it was not what he wanted.
Let me ask you a question. So, okay, you guys divorced. Where'd he go from there?
Well, I didn't know, but he was already seeing someone.
There you go.
So,
there you go. Is he still married or with that person?
Yeah, they got married.
Wow.
They got married a couple months after the divorce was final.
How many years ago was that?
10.
Okay. Again, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm getting Tony. Tony's really into this, and this is.
He's got some questions.
Yeah,
all right,
does.
Tony.
He said, "Yay, Tony!" Tony. And let me tell you, I didn't see this coming. But yeah, he says, being married today is much harder than 20 years ago. Society is geared for the generation. Everything out there is. Oops, sorry. Everything out there is set up for the individuals, not the couples. Everyone goes their own way in families today. So, in other words, nobody gives a shit. They go, if it doesn't work, let's just get out. They don't try. They don't try.
I think, too, what we're learning is that it used to be, we had traditions. You go to grandma's on Sunday for dinner. Yeah. You went to church on Sunday.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
Whatever your traditions were.
Yeah.
And then, but at that time, too, most of moms stayed home, and life changes. So traditions aren't necessarily set in stone anymore. And, it's not like people say, okay, well, we have to do this together. We have to do this together. And that in itself means that when you start finding yourself doing more and more without your partner, that's also another opportunity to come back and say, why am I doing more things without my partner than with my partner? But see, things happen so gradually, and life happens, and we just keep going. And sometimes we stretch it so far that it's almost impossible to bring it back together again.
And again, traditions change through time. I really do. I try to instill things about doing things. You know what I mean? With people that necessarily are not always in your life, older people. Respecting, going to visit them, trying to. When I was a little boy, my mother used to go and visit people that were in my mother's life as she was younger, and but it's getting to be a lost thing. But that's the whole thing. It's about just trying to be a decent human being. I don't know. I'm just still that guy, and believe me, I worked that in my daughter, and because it's like, how do you put it? When you're a child, you're raising a child. You can't expect them to be like you when you're as an adult. But I remember as a child into my mid-20s until it finally clicked for that respect about. So I'm trying to still instill those values. Call me crazy, but I'm still that guy.
Well, and when we're growing up, there are times like, oh, come on, it's Sunday, we have to go to Grandma's, and maybe you had your favorite TV show or something. You're like, oh man, we have to go to Grandma's
They're
and
on their
sit or whatever.
phones. They're on their phones now. We're sitting here, at the table, and this is it. But I'm more about the love because I'm telling you, they don't know it now, but when it's over, it's over. That's the.
Well, the thing too is then they get a certain age and then they start to appreciate that
Right.
relationship.
That's right.
So, we all go through that period in our life, and it's usually the high school years where we're looking for our own identity and wanting to do our own thing.
Let me tell you something. I have to either do what my daughter's schedule is permitting right now, or we don't do things together. She's got her own agenda, and it's nothing crazy. It's really good stuff. I'm very, very, very fortunate. But I'm busy. This keeps me very busy. I'm trying to get through we're in a weird year right now. It's safe to say that this is a very funky year. And but the thing is, so far so good. And I'm kind of split. I'm kind of bi-coastal. I have to go back and forth across the coasts to do things. And I like having her with me. I really do, because she's my favorite travel companion. We've been traveling together since she was 3 years old, and it's my biggest joy of that. For some reason, that time together. But again, everybody doesn't get that. But in life, all I want is people to just think before they speak. It's not easy. A lot of people lash out.
Right.
So okay. So what stage are we on? Do we?
That was stage 1.
Okay, let's go stage 2. Let's go. We got 10 more minutes.
Stage 2 is going through it. And, when you're actually in the thick of it and you're filing paperwork and, some people get a divorce and they get an attorney, and some people try to do it themselves. And, for me, I was trying to file all this paperwork and learn what I'm supposed to do. And it was basically put on me to do both sides of it. So
why?
Because that's just what 32 years of, habit, like, all right, you go ahead and take care of this too, and then just let me know what I need to sign.
Oh, wow.
And so, there's
you didn't get angry?
No, I don't think I got angry. I think I was too torn apart.
Wow.
I'd be I really was torn
apart and angry. You're a better woman than me.
I was torn apart. I was sad. I was devastated. I literally, it just felt like my life had been ripped apart, and many things didn't make sense.
It was, and that's where you get into the FU stage. You know what I mean? And then the wheels start turning, and then things get difficult.
Right. Well, yeah, that started happening, and but again, it's a journey. I chose to take the journey of self, and I was so blessed to have amazing friends around me, and friends who would really pay attention to my moods and my energy. And there were times at work I would just get up and go in the bathroom and cry, and then walk out like, oh good, I hope nobody notices that my eyes are big and puffy now or anything. But it would just wash over you. And when you've got these emotions and you literally can't function, I mean, I stopped eating well.
It'll make you sick. You can get sick.
Well, I didn't get sick. I dropped a lot of weight. And, of course, for a girl, that felt wonderful. Like, woo, that's awesome. Yeah. We're always looking for that, And I even heard someone call it once, the divorce diet. So, but, so going through it, it can be challenging. But going through it, again, this is where it's important to know yourself. Like, how are you showing up? what are you adding to the mix? And it's not like you can say, oh, I'm going to be all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns about this. And if he or she chooses to be mean, I'm just going to, let it brush off. That's not true,
Not
because
many.
it affects you.
A lot.
Affects you. And depending on how long you were together, you have that, I'll call it that energy of how you go back and forth and how you work. And so you're still that married couple, but things are separating. And so you're really trying to find yourself. You're really trying to figure out, like, well, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah, you were in a groove for so long that you don't even know what to do.
Right. And then you start to see that friends either choose sides or they disappear.
Right. There you go.
In my case, I had friends who then said, well, I really don't want you around my husband anymore. And I thought, that is so weird. I've known you forever. Like, if I didn't do anything before, why would I do anything now? People change, It's like, I've got to protect my husband, or I've got to protect my wife. And it's you do see different personalities come out of your friends that you probably didn't notice before. Yeah. So you deal with that as well. So, and then, just the muck that can be thrown, there's something too. And then stage 3 is putting it behind you. All right, the divorce is final. You've got that paperwork now. Yes, I'm free. And then you say, well, what the hell does that mean? I'm free.
Did you have to go to court?
No.
Oh, you. All right.
But I will say, I tried to file a lot of the paperwork on my own, and I did get really, really far until I got to a certain point, and then I had to get an attorney.
If you had to go to court, that would have been a whole different book. I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, everyone has their own experience. Absolutely.
A lot of people. And it's not a pleasant sight. I hate it. I mean, and you're ironing out your dirty laundry in court and just people there. And it's just stupid. I went to court so much that the security guards thought I was one of the lawyers. Honestly.
Right.
This sucked. I have no pride in that whatsoever. I mean, to me, it was the worst times of my life. I learned. I have acronyms and things that I'm trying to forget, but it doesn't, So you're a lucky individual for that aspect. You guys just, in a way, it was kind of an amicable divorce, whether you think so or not. Because if you went to the court, your hair would be as gray as mine.
Well, maybe I just color mine better than you do. I don't know.
I can't. Yeah.
But the thing is that my attorney went to court for me, so I did not have to appear in court.
You're a lucky
The second
girl.
time, I did have to appear in court, and it was interesting for me because as the judge was talking to me and asking me questions, you realize that finality of, this is really over. This is the way it is, and of course there is that that realization that someone is sitting across from you making a decision about your life going forward.
Right.
And that's frustrating. That's very frustrating.
Strangers in a matter of minutes because you can't do it, or you and your spouse can't do it, and they can make you or break you. And that's a real big problem because they don't know you. Depends on the mood they're in. There's lots of that. There's a lot of really good people that have gotten shafted in family court, and it sucks. And this is why I'm here.
I spent a lot of time there, the first divorce, and filing paperwork and going, and you feel so invisible, and you're just a number, and you're waiting to have your number called, and you just wonder, like, does anyone even care? And then you get up to the window, and of course they've seen 100 people by the time you get there.
Sure.
Yes, and you just want to look at someone and say, "Can you just listen to my story?" But they don't have time for that, and so when it's over, stage 3, now putting it behind you, think about this. Well, however you went through stage 1 and stage 2 is greatly going to affect stage 3. Like, all right, now I'm starting over.
Yeah.
And am I starting over as an angry bird?
Yeah.
Am I
Pissed.
really mad at people?
Yeah.
Am I angry at life? Am I frustrated?
Every reason.
Has it affected my health?
That's right.
And
I'm pissed. I'm angry. I'm angry at the world. Why me? Why me?
Mm-hmm.
And then?
Well, the question is, you know, a lot of people, when they ask why me, a more positive question to ask is, what can I do with this? Because when you sit in why me, it's very, it takes your power away. It's giving away your power. And then when you actually turn it around and, you know, really, this is why I like to say, tap into the warrior within. Because a warrior knows there's a time to fight and a time for peace. And when you can tap into that and know when is the time for which, it empowers you. It's very empowering.
It's kind of like our veterans who had to go through Vietnam and things like that, and then they come back. You didn't see what they saw. You didn't go
Right.
through what they went through, and then they
Right.
come back, and then nobody cares, and you know, and it's traumatic. I'm not comparing divorce to that because they win. You know, to me, our veterans and fighting for, I can't hold a candle to that. But everybody has their story. And
Right.
everybody thinks it's like it's the worst thing in their life because that's what's going on in their life.
Right.
And it's a tough one. And I got to tell you, I admire, again, I am one of the most thankful people in the world. I consider myself that I had actual people I call friends that surrounded me, or not surrounded me, but let me go and listened and still were there for me. As opposed to people going, oh, God, if I listen to this crap again, I'm never, you know what I mean? Because
Right.
you're crying.
Yeah, no, I've been there.
It's hurtful. It hurts.
Yeah.
And so I'm very fortunate. And again, this is why I'm here. I'm here to bring it. It's like, you're not alone. It's like, so talk to me. It's like, let's talk because you can. Life, I love life. I do. I can only pray that I could be as old as my parents to regardless of what shape or form I'm in. But it's like I've always been the guy who's, I mean, I'm 20 in my head forever. Although my body doesn't feel like it, I'm that guy. You know what I mean? I still with the stupid jokes, and all I want is everybody to kind of be happy because life is short,
Right.
and that's why you're here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
okay. So unfortunately, time flies when we're having fun.
It does.
Maybe in the future you'll come on and we'll talk about other things. I mean, or we'll touch on the same stuff because we never always reach the same people twice. I mean, you know, we're always grabbing more and more people. But we had to start somewhere, and unfortunately, my bad. It took me 2 years to finally get to you because my life.
You
is
know,
crazy.
everything happens in divine timing. I believe that with all my heart.
So do I.
And you know, maybe there was you had to be in a specific mindset, and I had to be in a specific mindset for this to really touch the people who are listening to this, and you know, really hear the message. Because if there's one thing that I could really stress that I feel is so important is when you're with people who are, you know, your friends and they're commiserating with you and they're supporting you, that's wonderful. That's wonderful to have. But we also have to get to that point. And I rarely say have to, but I am saying have to. If you want to be empowered, you have to get to that point where you stop blaming others and where you stop commiserating. Because if you don't, then you're just constantly regurgitating that over and over and over, and then that becomes your life. And as you say, life is short. That's not a way to live our life.
A lot of people, when you're in that puddle of mud, a lot of people, your friends, will go and look. I don't want to be around them. I just can't deal with it because a lot of people are weaker. You know, everybody has different weaknesses and strengths. And to me, a lot of people go, you know, Peter, well, why do you talk a bunch of like bummer stuff? And I said, the difference between me and somebody else is that I can talk about the hard stuff, and every day I get up and I brush myself off and go, let's move forward. I'm just a realist. I'm a realist, but I am positive in this weird. I want to bring the crap out to light to be so we can get it out of the way. But I still move forward. But a lot of people, they have to be like, I can't hear this. You're totally, you know, I can't. They can't deal with it. But you know what?
Well, it's great when we can bring the crap to light so that the light
dries it out.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, it just dries that crap out, and you can. It's a lot lighter too. If you know wet crap, it really is like heavier than dry crap. Yeah. So what did we learn here today? Today, folks, we've learned that
Yeah, that'll be what people will walk away with.
that's you and me. You know what? But that's all good. Let me ask you something. If there's anything you could leave my 3 people with, not to say that we're not going to get together again, because I think this is the beginning of a new beginning, finally. And you're right. Maybe this happened for a reason. And you know what? The past 2 years, all I was doing is treading water, trying to get to where I'm going. So it's been just crazy. You know what I mean? And I do believe if you don't get off the couch, you don't get anything. And I'm off the couch. I just walk by it. That's all I do. I'm never on the couch. But if you could leave anybody within my realm, my people, which hopefully will become your people and vice versa, what could you say tonight, right now?
It's important to remember that everything is energy. Every living thing is energy. So how you're vibrating, think about it like vibrating. How you are vibrating is going to depend on what you're going to attract into your life. So if you are vibrating at a level of anger, remorse, victimhood, revenge, then you are vibrating so low, and that's what brings on depression and sadness, and you can't get out of off the couch or out of bed. And we have the power, we have the absolute power within us to start raising our vibrational energy and to vibrate at a higher level and start attracting more positive into our life. And the choice is ours. That's the beautiful thing. We don't have control over what someone else does, says, nothing. The only thing we have control over are the thoughts we think and the choices that we make. So if we're choosing to be that victim, and victim sounds like he did this to me, she did that to me. Your stories start with because this happened, I am this. Right. I want you to know that you deserve more, and that's not the way your life has to be. That's not the way your life has to be. I mean, my life was totally torn apart. I lost everything. I lost my home. I lost everything. And that's when I found me.
Sometimes you got to go through what you got to go through to get to where you're going.
Yes.
Hi,
exactly.
My name is Peter G.
Yep.
All right, listen. I love you for coming on to this show.
Thank you.
Finally.
Thank you for having me.
Again, my intentions were good several years ago. It just somehow we just got lost. And but obviously we're here right now. And again, maybe this is how it had to get to be where it is. And I'll take it. All right. Next.
So will I. Thank you.
I would like to have you on again sometime.
All right.
Maybe things will be. Believe me, there's been quite an evolution in this show, and I mean it. We were quite the turd polishers. I mean, we've turned lemons into lemonade. That's like too cliche. I can go many steps beyond that. But the thing is, here's the beauty of this whole thing. Through the nature of the internet and this and that, this show is going to live on. In a couple of days, it'll be put up on YouTube onto that's my storage shelf, YouTube. But obviously, you're a LinkedIn, or I think that's how we met originally.
Yes, LinkedIn.
I love LinkedIn. Those are my TV people. And there's going to be clips and excerpts from this show all through the week. But the bottom line is this stuff's going to live on forever, and it regurgitates, and there's going to be reruns through the week, and it's going to build like a snowball. That's my mantra. Is like I take this little bitty pea every week, and I turn it into something a little bit bigger until finally somebody gets it. And
exactly. And because those of us who are willing to share our story and we put it out there raw, just the way it is, like all three of my books, that's what I did. It's out there. I'm an open book because I really feel that when you know my story, then you'll know, like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone.
Leading by example.
I want everyone who is feeling like they're alone to know you're not alone. Yeah. But I will say that when I was going through it, if somebody would have said to me, oh, you're not alone, I would have said, oh, F you, because yes, I am. I'm going through this myself. Yeah, it does feel like you're going through it alone. And that's why divorce is common. It happens to many people, but each person that it happens, that is going through it, is doing it their own way. They're experiencing it their own way. So
it's very personal.
Yes, it is. And it's no one has a right to tell us, oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. Never let someone tell you, oh, you should be here by now or you should be past that by now. Everyone has advice. And until they walk in your shoes, you don't have to follow that advice.
As common as it is, to me, it's like being a coroner. When I was watching the judge while we're standing before him, he's just he's reading, and I'm going, he's not even paying attention because it's very similar, but to you, it's very personal. But they've seen it all, and it's just another variation, and it's sad but true. And so it's unfortunately it is what it is. And but life goes on. There is life after divorce, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's your new beginning.
All right. Listen, Nancy Mueller, you are the best. Thank you for coming on and having everything I've asked from you to be perfectly symmetrical and I want because I want my people to hear you and see you to their fullest, in my own special way. But let's do this again sometime, okay?
Thank you for the opportunity of sharing my message.
Believe me when I tell you, it is my pleasure, and again, I truly appreciate you because making the effort for my little old show. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Nancy Mueller, where can they find you? Let do that. Give yourself a plug.
If you go to masteringyourbeliefs.com, that's my website. That'd be the best way to find it. Of course, I'm also on all social medias under Nancy Beginnings.
Nancy Beginnings, because I found that out today. I did. I found that I'm a little late in the game, but I'm there. I had no idea. Okay, so you can find Nancy Mueller on Nancy Beginnings, Facebook. Tell me the platforms
LinkedIn.
You're on. LinkedIn. You're on Instagram, right?
Instagram,
yeah.
Twitter.
Oh, boy.
All of them.
Oh,
yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, you go, girl.
Just let me know how I can support you. That's
right.
what I'm here for.
You're there for it. We're all there for something because, again, life is short and it's worth living.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. And we'll be in touch. And again, all this stuff is going to regurgitate. Feel free to take it and do what you want with it.
Right.
Let's just pass the message because at the end of the day, we all want good for everybody because we all have to live in this world together. Correct?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
God bless you. I love you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Peter.
Good night.
Ciao.
All right. Ciao. All right. You are Italian, huh?
I am.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right.
Bye. There you go, folks. There you go, folks. Nancy Mueller. Nancy Beginnings. You can find her all over the place. The Life Sensei. She's just practical. It's just life. She's got common sense, right? Makes sense. I mean, I'm that guy. She's that girl. Why am I doing this? I want to say one more thing for her. I don't do that. One more time. God bless Eddie Van Halen. Changed my life. Changed a lot of people's lives. Loved Eddie Van. I love Van Halen. Yeah, that's right. God. He smoked like a freight train, though, man. You get what you get. All right. I want to tell you what I'm doing next week. There's so much stuff else. Again, Nancy Mueller. Look her up. She's got more stuff going on than me. I got other stuff I want to talk about, but I'm not going to do it. Next week, I'm either going to talk to you by myself, trying to get Greg Ellis on. Greg Ellis is a Hollywood actor. He's got a thing called The Respondent. He's been through hell and back, and he's passionate enough that where he's gearing up his life and talking about family law and courts and all this kind of stuff. We're a month away from elections. So much stuff to talk about. And I swear we're going to get off of that stuff, but we're going to go back to the original Peter G. stuff. Life with Peter G. Anything you want to talk about. But right now, we're going to go. I'm 15 minutes over, as always, right? Love you guys. Don't forget to watch the Peter G. Show each and every week. Share. I didn't even talk about a watch party tonight. I forgot. Share it. Hit the watch party. If you want things to be bigger and better, believe me when I tell you, given the opportunity, I'm going to be bringing more music. Guys like Eddie Van Halen would have been on my show, sitting right next to me, had it been for me having the better budget. I have to do what I have to do with what I have to work with, and I think I do pretty well with that. But one step at a time, right? Love you guys. Let's spread the word. Peace and love. Ringo Starr, right? Peace and love. Love you guys. Thank my Bolt Energy. Electrify your senses. No preservatives. Ask for Bolt Energy. If you can't find it, go to www.drinkboltenergy. Ask them where you can find Bolt Energy. It's coming. It's moving. In a few minutes, this show will be rerun. You can catch it again. Comment, share, talk to me. Tell me what you want to know, what you want to hear. Otherwise, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. My name is Peter G. I love you. I do. Catch the reruns during the week. Rebroadcasts. Share. It's the only way we're going to do it. All right. Peace out. I love you guys. Let's go. Time to go.
G-Show, Peter G-Show, Peter G-Show, Peter G-Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G-Show.